When I first started sharing my life and experiences, the word influencer didn't even exist. I was also going to all these festivals. I don't know how to say it, but I was kind of working in those festivals, but not as a DJ. Like, I was creating content. Honestly, in the business, they say Europe doesn't pay you much, but it's good for your profile, and you get paid in the US. It was so funny because, you know, they started like recording, and in the recording, like everyone on the side of the DJ booth, everyone's trying to hold this thing, and I'm like trying to mix in the same time, and then like the camera flies, and it's just a mess.
Oh my God.
I don't think there is one formula for this, and I don't think you should do just one thing. I think you should be real, and you should be aware of your strengths and your weaknesses, and don't try to force something.
Hi guys, I am so excited to be back, and today I have a very, very special guest. She's one of the hottest DJ out there, and her name is Elif. Hi Elif, so happy to have you. How is life? How's everything?
Thanks for having me.
Of course, thank you for coming. Like everyone I say about you, everyone was like, oh my God, we love Elif, her music, and I know all my friend guys are crazy about you. Like everyone, LA, New York, especially like music wise, people love your music, your style, they respect you, and not only the audience but also the DJs.
Oh, that's nice.
We talked about you with Duncan. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out.
Oh my God, he's my first mentor.
Oh yeah, he told me that at the beginning he was telling you something about how to start and what to do or something like that.
He really showed me the way. He was the first one to tell me, hey girl, if you wanna like DJ on a better level, you need to start producing. And he actually introduced me the teacher who taught me Ableton.
Wow.
And also I was doing his promos. I was his promo assistant.
Wow.
So when I started DJing, I had access to a lot of unreleased music because of him, because I was listening to his promos and sorting them for him.
Wow.
And like his vision taught me a lot, and I'm always grateful. And every time he sees me, he tells me how proud he is.
Oh, that's very nice. He's amazing.
Yeah.
But your story is very interesting because, especially for people that are watching now who wants to be a DJ, who wants to become a DJ, you were a very successful and popular influencer. You had like a couple 100,000, and then you transitioned to DJ. How did that transition happen? And was it rough to start from zero and start something different?
I actually wanted to start from zero. I was a bit tired of, well, now I have the same issue a little bit, but I was a bit tired that everything depends on numbers, that my success depended on some number of likes or followers. And also when I first started sharing my life and experiences, the word influencer didn't even exist.
Wow.
And we would share pictures we took, and then it changed a lot, and it was like just pictures of you, and it became something like I had to be everywhere with the photographer.
Wow.
And also I saw that we grew up, of course. I started doing this in 2011, like writing a blog and sharing things on Instagram. And then all the people who started with me started having kids, so they became like mom bloggers, and I was like still going to festivals and parties and writing about these things. And at some point I felt like the job I was doing, which was kind of dream for many people, was draining me. And that was my cue. Okay, I don't enjoy this anymore. And I asked myself, okay, I'm 30 years old. I have saved some money, like, thank God. And what do I want to do? And my passion was music, and I never thought I could be an artist, but I said, okay, I'm going to give it a try.
Wow.
And I said, at first, probably it's going to be difficult. I'm not going to be as good, and it's going to be difficult. But then also, I'm from Turkey, and our lira crashed super hard that year, and I was suddenly making as much money as my like huge influencer job. So because of the currency crash, but still.
How long that was that ago? Like, when did you transition? When did you just start?
2018.
2018.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back then you were an influencer and you said, okay, that's it. I'm gonna try something different.
Yeah.
And what you love.
Yeah.
And I've heard that you were also going to the festivals. You were
Yeah.
loving this type of music.
Yeah, that's how I know Duncan also, Anders. Because I liked his music, and he came a lot to Turkey, and I was also going to all these festivals, as I don't know how to say it, but I was kind of working in those festivals, but not as a DJ. Like, I was creating content and I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. That's
So
very...
I was already in the network that also
Uh-huh.
helped me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I kind of knew some DJs because
Mm-hmm.
I was also a very good listener, you know, like the one that sends you message, and I have like this kind of people now, and I was like that. That's passion.
Oh.
And that's why when I decided to actually become a DJ, Duncan was one of the people who really showed me the way. He told me, okay, you need to produce,
Wow.
you need to do this, do that, and he always has a very good vision. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
That's great. And when we were in a car, you were saying that one of your favorite DJs is Mira,
Yeah.
and she inspired you to start to play because
Yeah.
you were looking at her and be like, okay, if it wasn't her as a woman DJ, you would have the thought of, can I make it in a male-dominated industry, right?
It's
Tell me
more
more
like,
about
it's more
that.
like representation. Like if you don't see someone like you in a place, you never think you can do it.
That's true. That's
But
a good
if you see
observation.
someone like you, that's why representation is so important.
Mm-hmm.
You say, okay, this is a woman like me, and she's killing it.
Yes. Yes.
So that was, I think I'm a DJ because of her. I also tell her always, and yeah, I'm a big fan, and I'm happy to call her a friend right now.
Looking back, how you were looking at her thinking, I'm gonna start DJing. By the way, she also inspired me to DJ, and now you playing for her birthday at Katerblau, which is one of the best parties
Yes,
of,
it's a super fun party.
of the world. I think everyone talks about it. Like, I know friends that flew from here, Berlin, just for that party.
I used to fly to that party.
How does it feel to, from that transition of looking at her and saying, I want to be like that, to actually perform with the same DJ? How does it feel? Do you feel...
It's a feeling of accomplishment. It's like a coming of full circle. It's very nice. Yes.
Achievement. The
Yes.
one that is done. Okay,
Yes.
nice.
It feels good. Yeah.
Giz was telling me that you have the skill that when you touch something, you make it very successful.
Me?
Yes.
Aw.
She was saying that because you were a very successful influencer, and now you're doing DJing, and obviously you're killing it. If that comes from a DJ, that means a lot. That means you're doing something right. How are you, like, what is your secret of, like, being completely different industry to becoming one of the best DJs that plays everywhere?
I think it's passion.
It's a passion.
Yeah, it's passion, because when you have passion, you spend a lot of time on it, and it doesn't feel like working. It's fun, and you keep doing it, and you get better. It's also kind of like a driving force for you. I think it's about passion.
But I think
Because I also really enjoyed when I was an influencer, like sharing my life and everything. And when I didn't enjoy it anymore, I didn't really have the force. So when it changed, and I changed. So the same thing can also happen to music. I don't know, but right now I have the passion. So it makes me work for it, and it makes me also. Sometimes people ask me, "How do you travel so much?" Like.
yeah.
And I say, if I didn't have the passion, like, I would prefer maybe working in a bank from 9 to 5, because it's really difficult to have the stress of, oh, am I going to make this flight? And also being in front of people without sleep. And it's not easy. It's fun, obviously, but it's not easy. So I think here the answer is passion, because I don't think you need to be like super talented or anything, and I don't consider myself super talented either. But what I'm saying is, if I like something, I'm gonna work
hard to achieve
I'm
that.
gonna-
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it because it's fun to begin with.
Yes.
And
yes.
then when you do something a lot, you get good at it.
I think I totally understand you. I can relate in the sense that when I had to play at the Burning Man and I had to play in different camps, and I was spending, we were on the way to Burning Man. We had to stop in like a parking slot, and I was standing there for like 5 hours, and my computer was out of charge. I was standing and charging, and I would never do that if I had no zero passion, if I had zero like anything. I did it, and I didn't feel like I was there for 5 hours outside in a cold just preparing music. And I think only when you love something truly, you would dedicate your time, and you wouldn't think that it's a work, right?
Exactly.
You would think it's like it's fun, it's part of the process.
You want to do it.
Yes, exactly. But do you have time to create life with this type of lifestyle that you have now? Like you're everywhere playing, or do you have to, that's the price that you pay?
I'm thinking about this a lot. Also, I told you in the car, like before when I would go to a city, maybe I would like eat things that are maybe not healthy because I'm traveling, and maybe I would just spend every day outside exploring. But now I'm like, okay, this is my life, so I can't be in a traveling or holiday mode all the time. And I also keep coming to the same places. Like I come to New York so much that sometimes I consider myself, I kind of live here. So people thought I lived here. Some people, you're not from New York? I'm like, no. But I play here a lot, and I really love to play here, by the way. It's an amazing crowd. But the thing is, I started to create like my own routines also on the road. Like everywhere I go, I find the yoga studio, and I always go to the same studio. And I like here this week I found a cafe. Every morning around 8:30 I go to the same cafe, I order the same matcha, I sit in the same table, and I do my work from there. And then around noon I go to the same yoga class. Like today the girl was like, oh no, you're leaving, and she hugged me because like it becomes like you kind of live there. And this now I'm trying to do. Of course I enjoy being here because I have a lot of friends here, or when I go to another place, but it's not like I'm visiting. I try to create this lifestyle that wherever I am, I'm trying to do like my routines, my work, and I become like a local there. Obviously not everywhere, because if I'm going to a place that maybe I never go before, or I'll probably not go as often as I would come to New York or Berlin, then I'm like, okay, show me what I need to see here, that's a different thing. But after you DJ like couple of years, you start going to the same places. I think this is a healthy approach to say, okay, this is my life, and how if I was in Barcelona, this is what I would do when I wake up, and then I would work, and then I would go to, then I try to create the same kind of routine on the road, so it keeps me grounded when you travel this much.
Totally. I think it's the way you look at it. Some people can look at it as it's frustrating to be on the road all the time, you're somewhere you don't know, or look at the way you look at it in a sense that, okay, I'm creating a home wherever I am, and it's a beautiful thing that I can go to the same places in New York, and then I have a home in Berlin, I have a home in Barcelona, I go to the same places, and it feels like you live in this world, not just like one place. And I was calling you that you're a true earthling, like you are everywhere, and that's your home. Just not just one place. That's beautiful. And you were telling me that one of the craziest, in a good way, places that you played was in Uzbekistan.
Yes.
That is so fascinating, because I was born in Kyrgyzstan and I came from that world, but I would never expect that people, the DJs and this type of music would be in demand in that part of the world, because it's completely different world.
Of course.
And you flying from Barcelona to all the way there and playing with Dear Jade.
At that time I wasn't living in Barcelona yet, but still, even from Istanbul it's difficult to get there.
Yes.
But there was this amazing festival. We played there like I think 2 years ago.
So it started 2 years ago. But
Sorry?
it started 2 years ago?
This
Like that's
festival?
yes.
No, they had, I think maybe it was their second edition, or it didn't start that year.
When did it start? Like
I
when
don't
was
know
it?
when they started
long
that
time ago?
festival. I don't think it's long time ago.
So it's a recent thing. Okay.
You can look it up, but I think maybe it was their second or not too long, you know. But I don't wanna say something wrong, but it wasn't the first. And for me, it was super interesting because first of all, it was super remote. Like first you have to fly to Tashkent, then you have to fly to another location.
Wow.
Then you have to drive. And the festival is on this lake that dried out. So the whole life just migrated from there.
Wow.
And like the festival area was in front of a ship graveyard, which looked like I don't know, like some art installations at Burning Man.
Wow, it did look like. I saw the pictures. I checked it out.
The idea was also like to raise awareness that they put really cool artwork there as well. Like they put a picture of what it used to be when it was a lake, and yeah, it was actually like it had a strong message, but also for me it was really interesting to play there because I felt like the people, first of all, it was a very young crowd, and I felt like, you know, when you sometimes play in Europe, like of course they have an amazing party culture and they know how to party and everything, but on the other hand they have parties every weekend.
Right.
But I felt like for these people, first of all, also coming from a similar part of the world, having not non-European or non-American passport is difficult. So you can't really travel. Also, probably your country's currency is weak.
Yes.
So it's not very easy to travel like a European or American youth, you know. So I felt like these people, they couldn't travel a lot, but they wanted to be there so much, and they really appreciate it, and they had the best time.
Wow.
And they were so enthusiastic. So for me, it was really like very, very nice experience.
Special.
And also one of the most unique places I played, really.
So it's an abandoned abandoned place because of the sea was dried up.
Yeah.
And all these people gathered at this place who cannot go to Berlin or Berghain to party or Burning Man, and I think I can feel that energy of appreciating people doing such thing, and it's a great thing that people do such events to show that their world is much bigger than what they see in their countries. And I'm very glad that you went, and it's one of your special gigs.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously there are very special gigs and everything, but when someone asks me, okay, what is the most interesting place you played? For me, it was Uzbekistan. Also, it's, you know, they have a very Turkic language.
Yes.
But they write with Kirill alphabet, so it's very interesting. Like you can understand some things, but everything sounds old. You know, it was very interesting.
Did you like the food?
Honestly, I didn't like the food.
No?
No.
Because that's what they know for. They say that it's the best food, the plov, you know, plov?
The pilau, yes. Like their rice is famous.
Yes.
But no, for me, it was too much meat. I think they even eat horse meat, I think.
Yes, they do.
But the second time I went, they were like, okay, we're going to have sushi. Don't worry.
Oh, at least you get to
Honestly, I didn't like the food. Also, in that region, like you couldn't find anything. I was dying to eat some fruits. There was nothing. You wanted to drink coffee. The water was salty.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, there was no hotel, nothing.
Wow. Yeah, you guys, you told me that you stayed in abandoned kids camp.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Very interesting. Yes.
Nice.
But I think it's a story, you know, also.
But that's a good story to share. I think it's an interesting place. But what about like craziest in a bad way, like, or funny way? Like, have you had any stories that are, oh my God, what am I doing here?
Yes. Once I went to, was it Dallas? I think it was Dallas, and I'm not sure about the city, but somewhere in Texas, and I went there, and I was supposed to play in a rooftop. And like by the way, there was a friend there who was, during the pandemic, like was sort of like a community manager for the channel I was doing the live streams, like Abracadabra. He was a community manager, and he said, okay, do you allow us like to do a live stream from your set because like the community misses you and let's do it. So he came and we set up the cameras and everything, and the weather was so bad.
Oh no.
Like we have videos of there weren't a lot of people because there was a storm, and I only like super crazy fans stayed, and like at some moments we were just trying to hold the canopy that because it was almost flying away, and like 10 minutes later we were like, okay, this is dangerous and let's just stop it. It was like a storm.
Wow.
So I couldn't even play.
Wow.
But it was so funny because, you know, they started like recording. And in the recording, like everyone on the side of the DJ booth, everyone's trying to hold this thing. And I'm like trying to mix in the same time, and then like the camera flies and it's just a mess.
Oh my god. Does the video still exist or not?
I don't know. I can ask. But it was really funny.
Do such thing happens a lot, or thanks God it doesn't happen a lot?
Not a lot.
But it does, yeah.
This was very funny.
Oh my god. You were saying that when you started the DJing, did the DJs, did they welcome you, or was it hard to get into the circle? Like how was that, getting into the circle of becoming a DJ, hanging out and like asking some advice from the DJs?
I never had a problem.
You never had? So
No,
everyone was like chill and friendly?
Yeah, when I first started, yes.
Nice. Would you say that you play in America a lot? Would you say that this is the best place to become a recognizable DJ? Like, is this the place where everyone wants to play, or is it maybe Berlin, or I don't know,
No,
Ibiza,
honestly, in the business, they say Europe doesn't pay you much, but it's good for your profile, and you get paid in the US.
Okay.
But I don't know, because also some of the biggest agencies are here, and it's easier to get in their radar when you're here. So, because this is big on entertainment, right? So if you're starting here, you're already one step ahead from someone who needs to start from Istanbul, for example. Or like Istanbul is a bad example because, okay, we have struggles with our currency and passport, but in the same time, we have one of the most vibrant scenes. So we have a lot of DJs coming, playing in Istanbul, and we have good crowds. So also when I first started, I was a resident in a club, Klein, amazing club, and
that's in Istanbul.
Yes, and I could meet every week like amazing DJs. So, but also it's difficult to travel because you need to apply for visas and everything. Right. But being in the US, because here it's a big industry, and there's like really amazing agencies and everything, so it's easier when you're here. Like if you're from Miami, from LA, from New York, you know, it's just easier for you. Or if you're in Berlin, it's the same because it's like a mecca for DJs.
Is it harder to make it there than in US, for example? Just because
I never made it in US or Berlin, so I don't know. But I think
in
you
Berlin, play here and there
so
too.
Many DJs. Okay, also it's a different culture. Okay, in Berlin you don't really find clubs with table service. So it's like you go into a club, you set it yourself, and then you can go out 3 days later.
Yes.
And they still charge you 20 euros.
Yes.
So also they don't pay the DJs a lot. Because there's a lot of DJs playing from Friday to Monday. And there's a lot of DJs also who live there. Also a lot of people who want to become DJs who are like moving to Berlin. So like if you're from Berlin and you play these little clubs, you don't really get paid, but then these clubs are so prestigious then that you start playing around.
How did you get into this market? Like you started in Istanbul, and then how did you start booking other countries?
First of all, I was going as an influencer to the other countries, and I was kind of in the scene. Like not as a DJ, but I knew people, and that helped. Also, like for example, in the US, my first party in New York, I think, okay, not first, but after the pandemic, the first party was organized by a Turkish guy, you know. Also, lots of Turkish people are organizing parties, that helps. Also, a lot of people from Turkey are now living abroad.
I know a lot of Turkish artists that are great, like
so when you play abroad, also Turkish people come to support you, and it's not small
That's
number
true.
of people, I would say.
I
So this also helps, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And also, in every US city I go, someone writes to me, "Hey, do you need something?" Like a Turkish person, and
Oh wow.
I usually meet these people, and yeah,
Nice.
because we are very hospitable.
Aw.
We like to show around. We like to provide. So I experience this also when I travel.
Okay, that's very nice. Yeah, I
Yes.
remember that a lot of people, a lot of Turkish guys and girls came out for you when you played for Ionia and to support you.
Yes, yes,
And we're
yes.
like, wow, I didn't realize that there's so many Turkish people in
Yes.
nightlife, you know?
Oh yeah. They love to party.
Nice, yeah. And I know a lot of great artists. I know Ocean Orientalist, that
Yes.
he's amazing
Yeah.
musician. Are you friends with DJs and producers?
Yes.
Like, do you
I
help
mean,
each other?
obviously, yeah.
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 So it's not like a culture where everyone is doing their own thing and they don't want to share.
I think it depends on the person, but
Mhm.
also I think our scene, like our sound,
Mm-hmm.
is more friendly maybe. But also, you know, the electronic music comes from a culture that unites people, and we are bringing good vibes, we are entertaining people. I feel
Right.
like most of my DJ colleagues are like lovely people to hang out, and you know, we help each other, and that's how I see it.
I think, yeah. But do you agree that it's not enough to just to be a DJ? Like, do you? Because I know that you do really well how you present yourself, and I think maybe the fact that you had experience with like having a good content, knowing how to present yourself. Like Anders told me that you don't go out to after parties, but you like make music. Like the way you
I was
present.
like that. Now I go to after parties. Not
That's
all of
okay.
them. I
We
choose
love
my
after
battles.
parties.
I choose my battles. Yeah. It
Do you think
depends.
it's not enough to just like play and leave, but you have to have like a lot of like things to do in order to make it?
Like, people ask me this question in many different ways, and I always say this: everyone has different strengths. For example, person A is a social butterfly, and he can go network and do
Right.
this thing, and he can be successful like this. And person B, let's say, is very shy but is a beast in the studio, and he doesn't have to go network, and he's gonna make such good music that's gonna work for him. And then the person C maybe has a little bit of some studio and some networking, but as an amazing business mind. So I don't think there is one formula for this, and I don't
Like
think you
that.
should do just one thing. I think you should be real, and
Yeah.
you should be aware of your strengths and your weaknesses,
Uh-huh.
and don't try to force something. Like, I'm not always social, and if I don't feel social, I'm not gonna force myself to make friends, you know. I'm like, okay, today I'm gonna go home, but maybe next day I'm like, okay, let's go and have some fun. But it's not like, okay, I should meet these people, so maybe next day he can be good for me. No, I
Right.
think you have to do these things with your heart, and if you become like, I have a lot of promoter friends, but I never approach them like, hey, let's become friends, so you book me. No, actually I became friends with most of them after they booked me. But it's because you're in the same industry, and you understand each other's life. Also with DJ colleagues, you know, like when you work in a bank, you have a lot of friends who also work in a bank, because
Yeah.
you're in the same environment. So it's similar to this. And yeah, I feel like
To stay true to yourself,
yeah,
do your own
you
thing.
just if you wanna become with the promoter, don't become friends with the promoter. Don't become friends because it can be like, oh, one day maybe he books me. No, it's just, I think people can sense it also, like why you approach them. But if you are a friendly person, do it. But it's not the only way.
Right.
It's not you know your strengths, you know what comes naturally out of you, and I think you should do that. And maybe DJing is not for everyone.
I like that. I think you said it very well, in a sense that you just have to find your own way and stick to that without looking what else. who
Without
else is
forcing,
doing.
you know.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna force someone who's an amazing producer, but he hates to be in a club,
Right.
maybe, or he hates to make small talk to the people.
Mm-hmm.
The agent can do that job. You do your music, you know, don't force yourself. That's
I
how I
understand,
see
yeah.
it.
What is your goal? Like, what's the next step?
No, I opened my label and I didn't even know it was a goal. But
That's nice.
it's very nice to support like
Other artists,
producers,
yeah.
other artists. So I think if you say a goal could be like making the label really strong, so I can support the people better and have a good brand.
That's amazing. Do you care about I need to make it to like play, I don't know, Coachella or like certain places to say like, okay, I made it? Or like, what is your goal and as a DJ besides that you created your label? Like, where are you navigating your road?
Honestly, I don't know, but it's not like, okay, I need to play here or here or here, but I'm more in a moment of I'm trying to create like a balanced life that is not just about the travels and DJs, but I'm trying to have a social life and a home life in Barcelona as well. So I think my goal right now is to have this nice balance between my personality outside of the house, which is like a traveling touring DJ, and
Yeah.
also I wanna when I'm home I wanna feel like I'm home and resting, and I'm trying to find that balance right now because it hasn't always been easy to find this balance.
How long have you been on the road? Like,
After the pandemic like kind of stopped, I would say since 2021 March.
I think you were playing in the during the pandemic, and I think
I was playing from home.
you were streaming. I saw one of your
Yeah,
streams from
yeah.
Istanbul. I think there
Oh,
was like a
yeah?
nice view of.
Oh yeah, I miss
yeah.
my view sometimes.
But when the first time I saw you, it was at our friend's private party in LA
Oh,
during the
yeah.
COVID.
That was actually not 2020, that was 2021.
2021, yes.
So it was like the year after COVID, and some parts were opening, some parts were closing, but I think LA was opening slowly. That's
Yes.
why I came.
Yes, yes, yes.
Because I got booked. Okay, I came in March for a month, and then I stayed until end of August. I was like postponing the ticket all the time because more and more cities were like kind of opening. I was a lot in Tulum that year. I played 3 shows in LA in 6 months, and not
Okay.
in LA, sorry, here in New York.
In New York.
Yeah, and then I was in LA to play like for Rasa for the first time in LA, and I remember your friends
Yes, my
booked me
friends.
for this after party, and then I found out that they booked me for this after party because they wanted to book me to their friend's wedding, and they wanted to see me like let's test
Oh
her.
wow, okay. I'll tell them. So, but would you say that because you were playing and you were persistent when DJs were very cautious and didn't want to play, it kind of start opening up
Who
for
was
you?
cautious and didn't want to
A lot of DJs I know that didn't want to go out, they didn't want to perform, they didn't want to play, and I think
I always wanted to go out and perform. When I couldn't, I did the live streams. When
Love
I
that.
could, I did it.
I love that.
Yeah.
When exactly what
I
you're
played
saying.
in parties where people had to wear masks, which is fine. And then slowly, it got more and more relaxed. But I didn't play. I mean, I also played in 2020, but in our small gatherings,
Yeah.
not like gigs. But
Okay.
we need music.
Oh, I absolutely
need
agree with
music.
that.
You cannot just like cut. Okay, now this is out. No, you have to. Okay, you think about people's health, but you also need to think about people's mental health.
I agree, and I like the fact that you were like, okay, if we can't be at the party, I'm gonna create my own party and do
Yeah.
the streaming.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you still do the streaming or not?
No, not really.
Why
but
not? Why did you stop?
I mean, it's so difficult to do it when you're traveling. Honestly, when I started doing the abracadabras, I also started traveling a little bit in the parts of the world where they were opening. So my first shows were from South Africa. So every weekend I had to find good internet connection, decks, and like a good location. So it's interesting. So this was my search. And then decided from November to January in 2020. And then I went back home. And for 2 months, I did these shows from home, which was super convenient. And then I came in March 2021, in March, to the US. And I remember, like, I started touring here. I went to Atlanta. I went to, like, I don't even remember, but I remember every time, like, if I'm playing somewhere on a Saturday, every time I was asking the promoter, hey, can we do a, like, live stream on Sunday, please? Also in Dallas, we did one. In Tulum, I had to, like, and it's difficult to find a location, decks, and good internet. It's not always possible. So if I was at home all the time, it would be easy. But like, if you're traveling, it's hard.
It's not easy.
It's hard.
Yes.
So that's why I stopped, because now I'm playing every weekend. But I think I want to do maybe once a month or something, like, from my home, because I also kind of miss that vibe. It's not going to be the same, of course, because at that time everybody needed to be home, and we needed that connection, you know. I still meet fans after or before shows on the dance floor who come to me and are like, you saved our pandemic, like,
really?
And it means a lot. It's a different kind of connection, because you're like, okay, first of all, what is going on? And how are we gonna connect? We need to connect.
Right.
You don't go to parties just to listen to music. You can buy a really good headphone and listen to music at home. Probably better.
Yes.
We go there to connect.
Absolutely.
So that was missing. So I was playing the music, but also there was a chat. And Blondish actually convinced me to do this. I was like, what? She was like, please buy a microphone.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and I was, like, reading the chat, and I was talking on the microphone.
While you were playing?
At some point, yes. And at some point, she was like, okay, we tell you to buy a mic, now you don't shut up. But it became like, that's the thing. Of course, people listen to the music, and I think for me also was amazing that I was still digging music every week so that I could play them on the show. And also it's different than playing in a different city every weekend, because you cannot play the same tracks.
Exactly.
You have to deliver something new. It's also, I think, if you're a resident in a club. But when you start playing a different city every weekend, you can, if you want, you can play the same set list. Nobody cares.
Yes.
But if you are doing, like, a thing every week, I was, like, digging music, and of course the music was important, but I think the more important thing was the connection. And we had, like, I don't know, Twitch was new for me, and after the pandemic I never went back to Twitch again. It was like you had commands, and, like, everyone had nicknames, and it was really, like, it was our we had insider jokes, and it was a very special time.
I knew I've seen those Twitch streams, but I didn't know that, like, you could speak and talk and engage while you're DJing, and that's kind of cool. That's,
you just put a microphone.
And I think I saw Blondish was doing something like she was talking, like she was playing.
That
and
was
dancing.
her idea. We would have, like, bi-weekly calls for her channel for all the people who are doing live streams.
Nice.
I think it was like Monoki, Malone, Mary Droppins, LPGOB, Sakib, me, and I don't remember who else was doing these streams. But we would have, like, calls, and because also this was new on Twitch. Twitch was a platform to play games.
Right. Yes.
So at first we could play music, and then they started having problems with copyrights.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the stream would happen, but then they would delete it immediately. So you
wouldn't save.
You couldn't save, and then at the end, I also had to stop because I think you had to do something like a talk show more than a something like this.
Something
And I was
more
like,
talking
okay,
than-
I'm already like touring a lot and it's gonna be difficult. So I stopped doing them. But I still remember this time very fondly. My
Aw.
show was called Moon Shuttle.
That's nice.
I had a little pink flamingo,
Oh.
like a neon
Yes,
pink
yes,
flamingo, and I don't know. It was also for me. It was not just for the people, but also for me. It was a very special form of
Nice.
connection.
Is she still doing the streaming?
I
or
think
not?
there should still be an Abracadabra TV on Twitch.
But is
but
she still doing
I don't
that?
think she can do it. I'm sure she travels
Busy.
even more than I do.
Yeah.
So I don't think. Maybe sometimes. But there was also good content on that channel. Yeah, she's a visionary. She was like this, okay, let's create something if we can't play music, you know.
Nice.
And she
I love
brought
that.
a lot of people together, and
Creating.
I'm grateful that she decided to have me on that channel. And I think also it made me really tour a lot in the US after everything opened up, because people
Really?
knew
Wow.
me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that also helped
Yeah.
in your career, and
Yeah.
But do you think it's also a lack of having those things? Do you think what you make depends also on the luck? Like, do you believe in that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I think that like half of it is luck, but half of it is also hard work and being in the right time in the right place, and you know. But yeah,
Meeting the right people. Yeah.
luck exists. Yeah.
Yes. Nice. What's your like best place to play? Like it could be the city, or it could be the club. It could be like, what is the place that you always love to come back and play?
I love New York really. Like I'm not trying to be like.
No, I think New Yorkers love you
No,
because
New
you
York
play
is
here all the
amazing,
time, and
yeah.
people love coming to your shows.
Yeah, I prefer like smaller shows.
Intimate. Yeah.
I love here playing for hot situations and Kuna, and I really enjoyed once played in Under the K Bridge. It was one of the best shows of my life.
Nice.
And what else? I really enjoyed playing for you. That was like a.
Thank you.
First of all, that place so close to like Williamsburg.
It's in the Williamsburg.
Super, like yeah, it's in Williams, like so convenient and
Yes.
very nice place. I really enjoyed that one.
Nice.
And yeah, I love playing in New York. I love playing in Berlin. I love playing in Amsterdam.
What kind of clubs or places you don't like to play? Like, what is something
I don't like big warehouses where the sound is usually not that good, and I don't like to be on a super high stage far from the crowd. And that's always more difficult for me to have like a connection to the people. And so I prefer being on the same level, and I also love having people around me that I can like vibe together.
Exactly.
And it's very interesting, but I love playing in Albania.
Albania.
Yes.
Wow.
They are also really passionate.
I think they're like, they love music, right? Like that.
I don't know. They also love Turks, maybe. I don't know. We have a very interesting connection. We have a lot of similar words.
It's close by, right?
It's not far. Yeah, I think Ottoman Empire was there at some point, and then they get rid of it. Luckily, so they're in Europe. But but we have a lot of words, and they I think it's a very similar culture also. So when I play there, you know, like someone from the crowd comes and is like, "Oh, my husband is Turkish," or they tell me like arkadaş or like a word in Turkish. It's I love playing there. Also for me, I don't wanna like talk a lot about this because I want it to be a little secret, but for me it's like, and I've been to Maldives and the Caribbean and everywhere. For me, Albania
is a place to be.
Best water I've ever seen. The Ionian Sea, like the level of clearness is another level, and you come from the mountain that is like super steep, and then you go, and also in the water you take 2 steps and then it's very deep. It's incredible.
Wow.
I love it there.
Who would have thought?
I love it there.
Albania's, I could see after this podcast everyone is traveling to Albania.
No, and it's cheap. It's a bit difficult to get to this part where I really like, But I think now they're making a big highway and an airport. So I think maybe in 2-3 years, maybe it's not gonna be as nice.
Really,
So
because
it kind of breaks my heart. But yeah, they're also like I went back there this summer with my boyfriend who's Italian. So I told him, look, this place is like a mixture of Turkey and Italy because they're so close to Italy. Like their food is super similar, but also they have been under Ottoman Empire for such a long time. So they also have a lot of like Turkish influence, and it was totally like that. Like we took one taxi and the guy lived in Rome and spoke Italian.
Wow.
And it was, and their
Really?
food is also like really super influenced by Italian. So yeah, I really like to play there, and I also like to visit.
Nice. So you like more places that has that's not too touristy, that is very authentic, like very simple, like not too bougie, things like that.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I think I can relate to that too.
I think I should think about where I like to play more and maybe memorize those things, because after every time someone I'm like, I forgot to say this place.
But is there a place that you want to play that like maybe a destination?
I haven't played in Brazil, Argentina, or Chile yet. I lived in Chile.
Nice.
I visited Argentina many times, but I never played in those places. And I've never been to Brazil, but I'm going end of April to play for the first time in Brazil. So I'm very excited.
Okay, very nice.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be great, especially to play in Brazil. But Buenos Aires very similar to Barcelona, right, where you live.
I think it's more similar to Istanbul.
Really?
Yes.
Because people say the
in a
other
sense
way.
that it's an amazing city when you're a tourist. Yeah.
And
Barcelona, it's an amazing city when you live there also. But Istanbul and Buenos Aires, I think they have something in similar. Also, like our levels of corruption and the difficulty of living and everything. Also, both amazing places.
Right.
When you're visiting, but when you start living there, it can be another story.
I see what you mean.
Yes.
Okay.
So, but I love Buenos Aires, especially around November when the jacarandas are like in those huge alleys, like huge streets. Yeah, these huge trees with like pink flowers. I'm a big fan, and I think it's one of the best crowds in the world. Whenever I know I'm playing for a lot of Argentinians, there's always passion. I like it. So I hope to play there soon.
Nice.
I also release a lot of music from Argentina on my label. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
So the label is running. People are like artists already releasing their songs?
Yeah, we are doing our 8th release next month. Yeah.
Very nice. I'm happy to hear that you're supporting other artists too. Is there like do you do some sort of like rituals, or like how do you prepare yourself to like play? You know, I know like some DJs do like specific rituals, like to ground themselves, to calm themselves. Do you do anything like that when you like travel so much?
I think I should do it.
You should.
Yeah, I don't.
Like what do you think you should do?
I don't know. I usually try to take a nap.
That's help.
And then I wake up and I'm like, I go to the club and like one of my eyes is still not open, and I sometimes feel like if people see me, like, is this girl gonna make us dance? But then I wake up at the booth. But I feel like I should have some
rituals.
Yeah, 100%.
But how about outside of playing? Like, do you have some sort of like, you do yoga, obviously, you told me, but is there anything else that it's part of your day that you...
Yeah, I make my matcha in a very specific way at home.
Okay.
I think that's kind of a routine, and I have also my morning and evening skincare routines.
That's why you don't look like 30 plus. Like, I thought you're 28, 29.
Thank you. I wish.
Tell me, what advice you would give to people that are actually starting now and looking at you and be like, I want to be like that too? Like, what's the advice you would give?
I think it's gonna be different from when I started and now. because now I think it's like like more and more people want to be DJ right now.
Right.
So I feel like it's gonna be more competitive.
I think it's already are.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna be even more competitive.
But I think it's not a bad thing because there's more demand for this type of parties.
Also, but I also feel like there's less parties happening this year than last year.
Less
Because,
parties.
yes, because I think after the pandemic there was like a boom of events, and not a lot of promoters survived.
Yes, that's
Yes.
true. That's true. That's
Also,
very
the
true.
world is more expensive right now. Like the flights are way more expensive, and the cost of living is just more expensive. So parties are like one of the first things that people can cut, or they evolve. You know, maybe
Yes.
you start booking more locals, and so they evolve. And I think the scene will evolve anyway. So I don't really have like, when someone asks me, I'm like, hey, how can I start? I'm like, start collecting the music you like, and then try to mix them. This the advice I give to people. And then I already told you, like, find your strengths and focus on that, and be aware of your weakness, and do whatever you're doing. Like, it has to become naturally.
Yeah.
And be like, okay, I know my strength, and I will try to
Push that.
make it work through that. Not that I'm something I'm not. You know,
That's a good point.
That's my advice. I already said.
Oh.
Rewind and listen again.
How did you find your style? Like, did you go through different paths to get to what you're playing now?
Yeah, of course. First of all, when I was first playing, I was a resident. I was doing a lot of warm-ups, so I would not play what I play right now. I think I was playing more deep and organic house, because I wouldn't play something harder than a headliner, you know?
Right.
And I think I appreciate a lot of different genres, and also because I play a lot of music and I listen to a lot of music, I get bored easily. So my style changes a lot. But I think there's always something in common that you can recognize. Okay, this sounds like Elif, but it can be a different genre. I also like to mix genres. I don't stick to one sound or BPM, because I like to see that my music matches that moment in time. Like, if I'm playing in a club or if I'm playing in a beach, these are going to be different sets.
Yes.
Or if it's daytime or nighttime. And for me, it's DJ's job to deliver to people what works best at that moment.
Right.
With a little bit of herself, of course. I like being flexible, because I need to have fun first so that people have fun. So I need to not get bored of the music I play.
Nice. And I know that you don't drink alcohol and things like that.
Not too much. I started drinking a bit now, but not too much. Like, I can't drink every weekend for sure.
I don't think it's sustainable. Like,
No,
a lot of
no.
DJs that I know, they don't do anything.
No, I like my liver.
Let's save the liver.
Let's save the liver.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for this nice podcast. I enjoyed our conversation a lot, and I hope you guys will do too. And I always forget to say, guys, please subscribe and like our podcast. Thank you, Elif, so much for coming. I really enjoyed our time, and I hope to see you again.
Yes.
To have you back and play for Ionia.
Let's make it happen.
Yes, let's do it. Thank you, guys.